The narrative kicks off with Teddy Jackson, a sales manager at a gym, earnestly attempting to create promotional content for his fitness ventures. Armed with elastic bands, a sweatsuit, and even a comical attempt at non-contact boxing, his efforts fall flat, resulting in a series of amusing mishaps. Meanwhile, in a remote desert setting, in Utah, an enigmatic assassin referred to as the Man from Toronto, also known as Randy, arrives at a secluded cabin. His mission, to extract sensitive and classified information through the art of torture. The Man from Toronto strikes fear into the heart of his captive by recounting his own origin story. A tale of surviving a brutal bear attack during his childhood, which left him unyielding and resilient. As tension mounts, Toronto readies a hot knife for an intense interrogation, prompting the captive to hastily spill the information sought. A name and address are divulged, and Toronto completes his task, securing his payment before departing. However, in a shocking turn of events, the captive is suddenly gunned down, and the ruthless hand behind the trigger is none other than Toronto himself. On the flip side, we find Teddy and his wife Lori waking up to a new day. Lori engages Teddy in a conversation about his current job plans, urging him to reconsider. Teddy discloses his intention to present a fresh project to his boss, igniting a spark of hope in Lori, which brightens her mood. As Teddy readies himself to celebrate their anniversary, a milestone in their relationship, it's evident that their bond is strong. However, lurking in the background is Teddy's reputation as a screw-up, a reputation that Lori is well aware of. Colleagues even coined a term, "teddying things up," to describe his tendency for errors. In a bid to create a memorable anniversary, Teddy arranges a romantic escape at an Airbnb location. Unfortunately, a mishap involving low toner sabotages his ability to accurately discern the address. While en route to work, Teddy distributes flyers for the gym, a routine that speaks to his determined spirit. Upon reaching the gym, Teddy encounters his boss Marty, who's irked by the flyers lacking essential details. Despite Marty's fondness for Teddy, the unfortunate flyers incident results in Teddy losing his job. In another corner of the narrative, Toronto, the enigmatic assassin, returns home and enjoys a leisurely breakfast. However, his tranquility is interrupted by a call from his handler, revealing a high-stakes contract worth $2 million. While Toronto seeks some respite, duty beckons him once again. As the plot unfolds, Teddy treats Lori to a spa experience, marking their anniversary. Meanwhile, Teddy embarks on a mission to find the Airbnb location, driven by a reservation printout. A misunderstanding leads Teddy to a cabin, the very spot where Toronto is expected to rendezvous with his target. Amidst the confusion, Teddy is mistaken for Toronto and is escorted to the basement by armed thugs. Faced with an unforeseen predicament, Teddy attempts to placate a terrified captive, inadvertently providing the information the thugs seek. A sudden flash grenade disrupts the scene as FBI agents storm in, apprehending everyone present, including Teddy. As our story unfolds, Teddy finds himself in a precarious situation, questioned by two agents who quickly realize he is not the elusive Man from Toronto. However, Teddy's seemingly ordinary existence takes a sharp turn when the agents reveal their true intent. They need the real Man from Toronto to assist them in apprehending a former Venezuelan colonel, Sebastian Marin. Marin's attempt to stage a coup the previous year sent shockwaves through the international community. Evading arrest, he and his wife Daniela escaped to elude justice. Teddy is handed a double-edged mission, to pretend to be the Man from Toronto and infiltrate Marin's world to bring him down. The agents enlist Agent Santoro to watch over Lori, Teddy's wife, during his absence. Tensions rise as Teddy senses a perceived threat from Santoro's charm and handsomeness. Juggling a facade, Teddy fabricates a work-related conference as the reason for his absence from Lori, omitting the recent job loss. Lori is hanging out with her friend Annie, and Santoro is keeping an eye on them. During this time, Toronto discovers a mistake has happened. With the information Teddy gave him, he is really surprised by how ridiculous the situation is. He follows Teddy's trail and faces Teddy without him knowing. In a bold move while in the air, he sneaks onto the plane and tells both Teddy and the agents who he is. But the agents still think that Teddy is the real assassin. Toronto proves he can be trusted when he gets rid of Marin's henchmen, saving Teddy in the process. They manage to escape a dangerous situation and end up in a field, in Puerto Rico, just barely avoiding a big explosion. But the person who hired Toronto isn't happy that Teddy is still around. To tie up loose ends, Toronto tells Teddy that they need to find someone named Mr. Green and take him to Marin. Since Marin thinks Teddy is Toronto, things get more intense. And then, a new person comes into the story, the man from Miami. On a golf course, he uses a golf club as a weapon to hurt someone. The person in charge of the man from Miami seizes this chance and offers him a deal to get rid of Toronto. This makes the dangerous situation even more intense, like a game of shadows. Toronto's relentless pursuit of justice brings Teddy to an unsuspecting tech convention, where their target, Mr. Green, is believed to be. With Toronto as his mentor, Teddy receives an intensive crash course in impersonating the man from Toronto, a role he must master convincingly. A room awaits Teddy, occupied by one of Marin's enforcers, while Toronto guides a concealed earpiece. The situation becomes even more serious as 4 men are captured, and their true identities are hidden. Teddy has to cleverly question them to find out who Mr. Green is. Teddy, having knives, has to use them to hurt them, even though he doesn't want to. Unfortunately, he accidentally hurts one of the captured men while doing this. Despite trying his best to stay composed, Teddy's stomach can't handle it and he ends up vomiting on 2 of the prisoners. In all the chaos, one of the captured men gives in and says he's Mr. Green. But things get dangerous because one of the main bad guys realizes that Teddy has a hidden earpiece. Toronto steps in to stop this bad guy and protect Teddy. As the mission gets more intense, Toronto cuts off Mr. Green's thumb to prove that they've caught him. The 2 of them then try to escape, but they're chased by Miami, who is strong. In an intense moment, Teddy barely avoids falling to his death and holds on to a ledge. Toronto has a big fight with Miami, while Teddy is struggling to stay on the ledge. The situation changes when Teddy accidentally stops Miami from taking the severed thumb, and Miami ends up unconscious. With the immediate danger contained, Toronto contacts his handler, seeking an update on the mission's status. Overhearing the conversation, Teddy grows suspicious of the handler's intentions, suspecting deception at play. Together, Teddy and Toronto set their sights on Washington, D.C., to expose the truth. In the heart of the nation's capital, the duo embarks on an unexpected venture. Teddy reaches out to his wife Lori, orchestrating a rendezvous at an upscale restaurant. The plot thickens as the FBI becomes privy to the arrangement. Teddy extends an invitation to Toronto, initiating an impromptu etiquette lesson to refine Toronto's social skills. Everything comes together as Teddy, Toronto, Lori, and her friend Annie meet up at the restaurant. There's an underlying sense of tension, with secrets and true identities on the edge. A new connection starts to develop as Toronto and Annie begin to connect. But their interaction is suddenly interrupted by the unsettling arrival of Miami. Things get tense as Toronto confronts Miami inside a closet. The situation gets worse, leading to another intense fight. Amid the chaos, Toronto gets hurt and shot in the leg, and Miami manages to escape with the severed thumb, a crucial piece of evidence. Despite this setback, Teddy and Toronto don't give up. They take control of a police car and chase after Miami and the person in charge. While they're speeding to catch up, Teddy and Toronto talk, revealing a hidden part of Toronto's past. Toronto shares a time when he had to make a difficult decision during a job in Minnesota. He chose not to harm someone, especially because the person had a child, and this decision haunted him afterward. Toronto's hopes of having a peaceful future, including owning a restaurant, show how much he's changed and grown as a person. The story reaches its peak at the hotel, where Marin, Daniela, the handler, and Miami all come together. A dark plan is revealed, an unsuccessful attempt to assassinate the Venezuelan president using the stolen thumb. Teddy, who is acting as Toronto, jumps into the situation, even though the handler tries to make people doubt his authenticity. Amid all this tension, the FBI shows up and captures Marin and Daniela. But the handler and Miami manage to escape, leaving lots of unanswered questions. As the mission comes to an end, Toronto gets back the payment that was meant for the handler, a final way to get back at them. The story takes a touching shift as Teddy rushes back home, seeking comfort and understanding from Lori. But when he gets there, the house is empty, reminding him of all the chaos that has taken over their lives. Lori's message shows that she's unsure about things and has gone to stay with her mother. Simultaneously, the handler sets a treacherous plan into motion, recruiting other deadly assassins to track down Teddy and Toronto. As the stakes escalate, Teddy learns of Lori's presence at the train station, compelling him to make a desperate dash to intercept her before she departs. Miami, relentless in his pursuit of Teddy, corners him at the train station, poised for a final confrontation. Just in the nick of time, Toronto intervenes, saving Teddy from Miami's lethal grip. Expressing an unexpected concern for Teddy's well-being, Toronto's complex character continues to evolve. The narrative takes an explosive turn when the trio finds themselves facing the deadly trio of assassins: the man from Moscow, the man from Tokyo, and the men from Tacoma. A pulse-pounding showdown unfolds within the confines of Teddy's old gym, where Toronto's skills prove indispensable in vanquishing their foes. Despite their triumph, Miami corners Teddy and Toronto outside, setting the stage for a high-stakes showdown. Summoning newfound courage, Teddy hurls himself at Miami, inadvertently breaking his hand in the process. The sinister handler makes her dramatic entrance, demanding the payment that lies within Toronto's cherished car. A terrifying pursuit unfolds, leading to a tense showdown at a factory. The handler has a gun, but Teddy finds a final chance to act and drops her into a boiling vat, ending her dark plans in a fiery finish. A massive collision with a train ruins Toronto's prized car, scattering the money in a chaotic mess. When things settle, Teddy rushes to find Lori, and they reunite with apologies and forgiveness. Amidst all the confusion, Toronto's life takes a different turn. He starts a successful restaurant business and begins a romance with Annie. Teddy's efforts thrive too, as his no-contact boxing gym becomes popular. A year later, the characters' paths cross again. Teddy and Lori excitedly anticipate the birth of their baby, their lives transformed by their new roles. Toronto, seemingly moving forward, still carries a grudge against Teddy for what happened to his car, a vendetta that remains unresolved. The movie reaches its poignant conclusion, leaving us with a sense of closure and anticipation for what lies ahead.